The penultimate race of the 2023 NHRA season has finally been completed. It is in the books. We have one race left to decide our 2023 NHRA champions. And boy, oh boy, what a weekend. What a race. I started following the points. I have it up on my phone. I will go through it as I go through all four classes. We have a lot to get into, including the 4 highlight videos of the weekend, plus a lot of stories throughout multiple classes. So let's jump straight into Pro Stock Motorcycle. Gage Herrera once again dominates the class start to finish. Goes through Angie Smith, who did not start. Was honestly probably the first story going into the weekend because of the fact that she was medically cleared to compete. She got on the bike not to make a competitive run, just to line up, set up the beams, and then get the bonus points for qualifying, so that way she could try and stay in the top 10 in the Pro Stock Motorcycle Championship standings. So Gage has a bye run at round number 2 against Mark Ingerson, takes care of Mark, goes into the semifinals against Jerry Savoie, who is riding on Chase Van Sant's bike, who is out for the rest of the season after his injury in Dallas, and then finds himself into another final round looking to win his 10th event of the year. His competitor, once again, his teammate Eddie Krawick, who is now second in the championship standings. Eddie Krawick faces off against Karen Stouffer in round number 1, who also did not show up to the starting line. So both Vance and Hines riders gets a bye run into the second round, where he will go to face Steve Johnson, who took out Chris Bostick, who had trouble on the starting line as well. Steve Johnson, not enough to get it done. Eddie Krawick with a 6.864 moves himself into the semifinals against Gianna Evaristo, and that 692 takes down a 6.845. Eddie Krawick moves into another final round, and again it was another Vance and Hines duo final round, and it was a bit of an interesting one too, because of the fact that Eddie and Gage started to play games with each other on the starting line. It wasn't so much of a beef scenario, if anything. They both set up the staging lines, and then neither one of them wanted to move in. It all seemed lighthearted because Andrew was laughing on a starting line about it. Apparently that might have been something that they planned before the race started, because of the fact that, as it stands right now for Pro Stock Motorcycle, Gage Herrera has a 181 point lead. He's probably going to clinch it by the time qualifying is over in Pomona. So pretty much it's all just for fun. Eddie is still trying to win his 50th race of his career, so he's going to try as much as he can to win it, but it's all in good fun. In reality, Gage Herrera gets his 10th win of the season, as he's closing out on the most wins in one season. I believe the record is Matt Hines back in 1998. So Gage Herrera, again, 10th win of the season, going to go into Pomona, probably lock the championship up in qualifying. He had a chance to do it this weekend, but needed to go 2 rounds further than Eddie and unable to do so. Now means we have to wait another week for the coronation ceremony. So if you really want to get into it, technically all 4 championships will be decided at Pomona, if you really want to look at it that way. In Pro Stock, Kyle Kretsky steals number 1 qualifier spot away from Erica Enders and keeps her from getting the full 8 points. In reality, is the only reason that Erica didn't max out her bonus points this weekend. Heading into round number 1, Kyle Kretsky faces off against Jerry Tucker, takes him down. Greg Anderson is who will meet in the second round, who struggled pretty much all weekend, qualified 8th, but is able to get it done in round number 2 against his teammate, moves into the semifinals to face off against Matt Hartford, takes care of him. Matt Hartford had a really strong start to the first half of the season, gets to the countdown, has fallen out. He's still technically mathematically eligible to win a championship, but with how he's running compared to the other 2 leaders, I don't see it happening. I think Matt Hartford is going to be out of it unless something big happens come Pomona. Greg Anderson moves on into the final round to face off against Erica Enders. Erica Enders, round number 1 against Mason McGahey, takes care of him, moves into the semifinals against another elite teammate in Troy Coughlin Jr., defeats him, goes on to face Troy's uncle, Jake Coughlin Jr., who made his return this weekend, running Erica's older car. Jag was announced to run the final 2 races of the year, kind of as a bit of an R&D thing to get him ready for the PRO shootout next year down in Bradenton, but also because of the fact that Jag could help him out the team with Elite and Erica to try and win that championship. And again, going off the line, Erica gets a good jump on him, starts to run away with it, and then Jeg pulls the chutes and gives it up. Erica moves on to another final round. And once again, how many times have we seen this over and over and over again? Erica versus Greg in the final round. Greg had lane choice, decided to choose the right lane, goes with the starting line, does not have a good reaction time. I believe it was 0.024 was reaction time for Greg and a 0.011 for Erica. It was pretty close, but with that much of a gap against someone like Erica Enders, you're going to have a hard time trying to take her down. And when you square the tires off on the starting line, it certainly does not help either. Erica Enders wins another race and now has a 116 point lead heading into the final round of the season in Pomona. Moving into the fuel classes, and this is where things started to get interesting. So I was informed throughout the weekend that there was a protest being lobbied against Bob Tasca III after his 338-mile-an-hour run down in Dallas. He started to get protests from the John Force Racing camp. They were complaining about something involving with the headers, saying that there was a gray area or whatever involving a loophole that they had found, and they were starting to abuse it. They move into the race weekend, and again, both Bob Tasca and Robert Hight taking all the paint off their cars, running bare carbon paints to try and save as much weight as they can. I talked about a video about 2005 where John Force tried to do the exact same thing. So if you want to watch that video to get ready for Pomona, then by all means you can do it. The links will be down in the description for that. But again, they're both trying to do as much as they can to save as much weight to go as fast as they can. And following Bob Tasca's Q4 run where he set the #1 qualifying spot, there was another check from the NHRA. They've been checking them after every single round to make sure those headers were okay. They had been given the green light and actually said they could go further than what they were doing. What ends up happening, they give them the green light saying they're okay for Q4. 2 hours go by, they reconvene, and then decide that the headers were 0.2 inches too wide. So the run was disallowed. Bob lost his 3 bonus points from that event and lost his #1 qualifying spot. That gave it to Robert Hight, who pretty much maxed out on points that he could get for this event. Takes #1 qualifying spot against Jeff Deal, round #1. Jeff Deal, I believe he red light by a day and a half. That gives Robert Hight the win. Goes on to round #2 to face Tim Wilkerson, takes care of Tim, goes into the third round, semifinals, where he meets up with Blake Alexander, who had an incredible run today. Round #1 against John Force. John shuts it off early. Blake moves into round #2 against Alex Laughlin. Had troubles on the burnout, giving Blake a similar situation to what he had back in Norwalk, where with everybody else's mistakes, he's able to capitalize, moving into the semifinals to face off against Robert Hight. But again, clock strikes midnight. Blake Alexander, after an incredible run, sees it end early. Robert Hight moves on to the finals in a must-win scenario to keep his championship hopes alive. Looking down onto the other side of the bracket, Bob Tasca III face off against Steven Dencham. Steven has issues with his own. Bob ends up spinning the tires, so he got really lucky with where he was in the situation of how everything played out. Bob moves into round #2 against Cruz Pedregon. Cruz has issues of his own. I believe he broke a throttle cable or something like that. Was unable to get the car off the line. Moves into against Matt Hagan in the semifinals. In the real race that he needed to win, takes care of Matt Hagan, which caused a real shakeup in the points, which we'll talk about later. Final round, Robert Hight versus Bob Tasca III, which is where seeming the rivalry is, and also seeming where the championship is probably going to come down to if Matt Hagan is unable to do it. Robert Hight versus Bob Tasca. Bob Tasca looks like he was going to get the run he needed off the line. Sadly, unable to do anything with it. Ends up shaking the tires, having to get out of it, and then ends up trying to drive out of it. Robert Hight runs away with it and takes the win. Moving into Top Fuel, Mike Salinas has had an incredible weekend going into this event. Round #1 against Rob Hazzy, takes care of him. Defeats Tony Schumacher in round 2. Defeats Josh Hart, an incredible run to the semifinals after defeating Leah Pruett, which really shook up the points. Defeated Doug Kalitta, which shook it up even more. So right now, Josh Hart is probably Steve Torrence's favorite driver in the class right now, because he really helped him in the championship battle. He now takes the championship lead heading into Pomona. Mike Salinas takes down Josh Hart, then moves into the semifinals to face off against Justin Ashley, who had a really trying season in the postseason. Had an incredible start to it, looked like he was going to run away with the championship. Start off in the countdown, it all falls apart. Round #1 against Dan Mercier, defeats him, goes on to beat Austin Prock, and then takes out Steve Torrence from getting maximum points to help him in his championship fight. Moving into the finals, Mike Salinas versus Justin Ashley. Justin has to back out of it. Mike Salinas gets his first win since Gainesville at the start of the season, and now finds himself back inside that championship fight. As where he sits right now, he is currently, I believe he jumped into 4th. He overtook both Antron and Justin and is now 76 points out. Still a long ways out, but with how crazy Top Fuel has been this season, I would not be surprised if you could see some miracle run come from the Scrappers group in their hometown race. As for Funny Car and the point situation there, Matt Hagan, believes, still holds on to the points lead. Bob Tasca III now second, 15 points back, and Robert Hight is in third, 17 points back. So a 17-point gap first to third. Ron Capps is fourth with 139 points, I believe, out in fourth. Pretty much done deal there. I don't think Ron Capps is going to be able to catch up with how he's performed in the postseason. We have a lot of videos to go through to get through the highlights of today's event. Let's get through it, and then we will get you guys ready for the Pomona Finals.
Of course. Eddie's in no hurry. Gage is being, Gage is being deferential to his elder statesman teammate. Oh, now he's going to throw a couple revs at him.
There goes Gage. That's respect.
Eddie was out first, 50 to 63. Sorry, Eddie, not your day again. Gage Herrera goes 675.5 at 198 miles an hour to collect yet another victory on this tour and to all but 100% lock down this world championship. Effectively, all he has to do now is show up to Pomona, California, his 10th win in his 11th final round.
Well, Gage has his 10th career Wally in his hand. And Gage, I have to go back to a post that Brian Loans found here this weekend where 365 days ago, just a little bit more, you were asking for money to participate in this race, and now you're holding your 10th Wally, double digits. Eddie tried to rattle you. Can anything get to you?
I mean, anything is possible. You know, I just got all the confidence in the world in my whole team. You know, Andrew, the whole Vance Hines Mission Suzuki team, and just Gen 3 Hayabusa. You know, it's been on rails all weekend. I mean, all season. And yeah, a year ago, I never would have expected me to be in the situation I am today, and I'm very thankful for all the opportunity. And that was a big one. I mean, that was 3 finals for us as a whole team, you know, together. And unfortunately, I took Ed out again and not allowing him to get his 50th. But all in all, we're going home with the Wally, and I'm very happy.
Woo! Greg Anderson told Bruno he knows what he needs to do, and the toughest thing in the world of drag racing to do is to know what you need to do and then actually do it.
They're both pre-staged.
Greg Anderson rattles the tires. Erica Enders, for the 10th time, has won at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. To achieve double-digit victories at a single facility is incredible. A 655.7 at 208 miles an hour. The second that Greg let the clutch out, Tony, even with a great 24 light, he was doomed.
Erica, to kick off the weekend, we talked about your success here in Vegas. You've won championships here, and that is now your 10th Wally that you have won at this place. What have you figured out about the Strip?
That you can't do it alone. And no matter how much negativity surrounds you, if you don't let it in your boat, it can't sink you. So I think that's the biggest lesson from this weekend is what we had to deal with, the adversity that we had to get through. And again, I say it all the time, but when our backs are against the wall, my boys performed flawlessly. Greg had lane choice up there and took the right, so my crew chiefs were thrilled. But JHG, Melling Performance, Skag. Man, I can't thank Randy and Maria at Skag enough, but this is awesome. We came in here with the lead. Greg's right on my heels, and that was a big round for us, and I'm just really proud.
I asked you earlier in the weekend if you could put one hand on that championship trophy. What about now?
Answer's still the same, Amanda. We're going to go to Pomona. We're going to pretend like we just got to give it all the effort. I give God the glory, but when you dig deep and you play with all the heart that you have, they can't get you.
Tasca's got a pedal. Robert Hight goes roaring down, and Hight goes a 385.1 at 326 miles an hour. Bob Tasca III's car began to shake the tires. He pedaled valiantly, 423.5 at 268. Hight is your winner.
Oh, he was just waving to his daughter, Autumn, on FaceTime. And gosh, we were talking to your crew chief just about the masterpiece that you guys have had this weekend. When you think of a championship on a whole, how much of that will be reflected in a weekend just like this?
Oh, it's going to be everything. You know, we dug ourselves a hole in Dallas, and we knew we had to come in here. It was almost a must-win situation. And, you know, these other guys are running right with us. We're not running away with this thing. This Camaro, in fact, Chevrolet's going to be very happy with that right there. But you know what? I thought to myself as I'm staging, you look in this beautiful sunset here in Vegas, and you just want to drive off in the sunset, but at least we're carrying a Wally. And you know what? Cornwell Tools, they were finally here for a win. Pomona is going to be exciting.
Leatherwood Distillery, Phillips Connect for Ashley. It is the Top Fuel final in Vegas. Big jump. Oh, Ashley's out of power. Mike Salinas drives to his second victory of the year. 367.3 at 333 miles an hour. And credit where it's due. We did not talk about Mike Salinas getting himself back into championship form, but they will go into Pomona, California with a chance.
And he takes the Wally into his hand. And Mike, we talked to you ahead of this final, and you told us that you didn't really matter who was in the other lane, that you race yourself. You have put yourself back into this championship. Why should we have never counted you out?
Because you race yourself in every run, and you never count yourself out. You just keep moving, keep moving. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
So again, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys for supporting me all season long. We have one race left, and I'm happy to say that we're going to try our damnedest to be out there for that event to cover it live in person. And with how this championship has gone down so far, you have Top Fuel. Again, just looking at Top Fuel, I mean, for God's sakes, 34 points between first and third, with a good chance that Mike Salinas still has a chance to win it. Look down at Funny Car, 17-point gap for the third. Like I said, I just uploaded the video about the 2005 championship where it was a really close battle between 28 points. And now this one has 17 between three of the top guys in Funny Car. So it's Matt Hagan, Bob Tasca III, and Robert Hight. It's going to be an absolute dogfight going into Pomona for that championship. Eric Anders pretty much had the championship clinched unless something major happens throughout the weekend. And then Gage Herrera, we're going to have the ceremony and the coronation of a brand new Pro Stock Motorcycle Championship. It is going to be a historic event at the Pomona Drag Strip. If you have the opportunity to go out there for an event, I plead with you, I beg you, go out there, watch the event. Watch it on TV, NHRA TV. I don't care how. You need to watch that event because this is going to be one for the ages. You can't find this kind of championship battle anywhere else within the world of motorsports. Nobody else, besides maybe IMSA, is having a championship battle that is coming down to the way that this is. And it's going to be so unpredictable. I cannot wait to get out to California to watch the sunset on the NHRA Cabriolet Drag Racing Series as we prepare for the NHRA Mission Foods Drag Racing Series. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, please subscribe, like the video, comment on the video, and share with everybody so that way everybody can get accustomed to drag racing, get exposed to it, so that way everybody can understand what's going on coming into the final race of the season. Be sure to follow me on all social media pages, MightyMac03 on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Threads, at Facebook, everywhere. I'm posting updates all weekend, especially with the Bob Tasca situation. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in a few weeks. I'm going to try and get you guys some more videos out for history videos to try and get you guys ready for the Pomona finals. Can't wait to get those out. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. And until Pomona, this has been Mighty Mac, and we will see you next time. I want to curse, but screw you. I'm leaving that in.